How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the first installation in my Return to the Groove series. We're going to be focusing on boom-bap beats, which are basically beats that have a heavy emphasis on the backbeat, or the bass drum and the snare drum. Okay? And today's one is going to be actually an original boom-bap groove that I wrote. And it's a little tricky. It's kind of what's called a linear groove, which means that you have very few unisons together, meaning hands and feet coming down at the same time. Most things are kind of broken up instead. Now I should mention that there's ghosted notes in this groove and then accented notes. Basically, the 2 and the 4 are accented and everything else is ghosted on the snare. Okay? So when you're figuring this stuff out, if you want, you could start without the dynamics and just figure out the sticking and the notes. Okay, and then once you're comfortable with the groove, then you can start to focus on the dynamics and keeping the notes ghosted and accented. Okay, first just get an understanding of the actual pattern that we're playing. So before I get into explaining the groove, let me show you the groove that we're going to be playing today. Ready? Now I think the simplest way to go about learning this is to actually do what I call sound out the music. Or it's kind of like when we were kids and we were learning to read for the first time. When you saw a word that you had never come across before, your teacher or your parents, they would recommend that you sound it out. You take your finger and you kind of just go from letter to letter across the word, and you go from syllable to syllable until you're actually able to form the word with your mouth. Okay? Well, we do the same thing musically. So what we're going to do is that groove, we're going to sound it out. If you notice, I provided some notation for you, okay? And what I think the best way to do this is to take the notation, and what you do is look at each individual count, like 1, E, and, right? And look at those, each one as a letter or a syllable. Okay? And so you sound it out. You do it really slowly and try to put it together. So if you look at the first group of 16th notes, right? The first 4 notes in this measure, we would count them 1, E, and right? 16th notes. Always count like that. 1, E, and 2, E, and okay? So what we would do is just take that first phrase and try and sound it out, or play it really slow, count for count. So on the 1 we have what I wrote in your notation is ride or bell, but I'm actually playing it on what's called a stacker or a crash course. Okay, and then you have your bass drum. So basically your right hand and your right foot are on the count of 1. Okay, so you would go 1 like that together. Then the next thing you have is the E of 1, and that's a snare drum. You also have a snare drum on the end of 1. Okay, and then you have a bass drum on the of 1. So if we take those 4 notes and put them together slowly, we have 1, E, and like that. Okay? Now if you notice in the notation, I have a left foot hi-hat that is written in on all the ends of the notes. And right now, you don't worry about that. You can ignore that. We're going to put that in at the end of the lesson. Okay, so for now, we're just trying to put together our right hand, left hand, and right foot. Okay? So we're going to go through it really slow. I'm going to sound it out a couple of times. Then I'm going to play it at a bit of a quicker pace, and then finally at its normal pace. Alright? So you could follow along with the notation to work on this at home. Start it slow, really slow. I know it might seem painfully slow, but trust me, your body needs to internalize these patterns and rhythms that we're trying to learn. Okay? So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 3 E and 4 Now we're going to try the same thing, sounding it out, so to speak, but at a slightly quicker tempo. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E. Okay, so now let's take it at a tempo where it actually starts to groove, okay? 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Okay, and now finally, we're going to get it up to the speed of the actual groove, which is a pretty quick 16th note count. So, 1 E and 2 E and 3. Okay, so finally, once we have the groove up to speed and everything sounding good, we want to add in our left foot hi-hat, okay, and we're going to be doing it on the ends. Therefore, what we're doing is we're actually giving a swing feel to it. So, we'll start it. Ready? Alright, so that's it, everybody. Have a fun time working on the groove. Remember, don't get frustrated. Take your time. Go slow. It's supposed to be fun. It's work also, but it's supposed to be fun. So just really try to be patient with it. These things don't happen overnight. Okay? So have a lot of fun, and until next time, practice hard and play harder. Take care, guys.